My name is Ishika Srivastav, and today I'll be presenting a joint research project with my fellow researchers, Loic Stewart-Delavine and Zoe Van Hersek. We'll be discussing the inclusivity of LSE's outreach program. So our presentation will be divided into our introduction, methodology, findings, and finally our recommendation. The focus of inclusivity today is along socioeconomic groups for UK undergraduate students. So as the LSE is 70% international, we thought it was important to understand what the experiences of home students were like, especially from lower socioeconomic backgrounds. So that's what we'll be looking at today, because we thought it would be interesting to see what impacts they could make on higher education.
So if we want to move on to methodology a bit, we used a range of techniques, so qualitative and quantitative research methods. Firstly, we used a range of qualitative methods in the form of semi-structured interviews with UK undergraduates, and then used the Braun and Clark thematic analysis to find some commonalities and differences between what these interviewees were saying. And then we moved on and did a bit of quantitative research methods to understand the correlation between the number of marketing recruiters sent to the different school types. So we looked at non-selective, state selectives, and independent schools, and then subsequent enrollments into the university. It was important to find a correlation in enrollment rather than offers, as we know that student marketing don't simply go to schools to recruit students, but also to not deter them from applying, but making sure they have an informed decision when they choose to apply. We then combine these findings of the quantitative and qualitative research methods in our findings. And firstly, we can see that there's a positive correlation between the number of student recruiters sent and the average number of students that will end up enrolling at the LSE. And this implies that, as we can see, that sending more student recruiters to these schools does encourage a higher number of student enrollment. Therefore, recruiters that are present when they are in demand, but these feel popularity at the LSE schools. Hence, we would say that students from certain private and selective state schools retain this relationship with LSE through its recruiters, but it's more difficult for the presence at non-selective state schools to be marked and measured.
Our second finding related to London. So the marketing is effective with non-selective state schools around London, as they have high enrollment rates at LSE, and because of the correlation mentioned previously. The state school students are more likely to be commuter students to London's, and therefore there is a marked presence of them at the LSE community. However, as has been highlighted in the previous presentations as well, such students face different challenges in tackling the prestige when they actually do apply to LSE. So there is a larger amount of enrollment, but there are different problems with these students. And lastly, state school students are hesitant to apply to LSE because of its prestige and fear of academic and social exclusion, which shows that there are different things that marketing can do when it comes to perception.
So on the next slide, we'll have the mind map of the thematic analysis. One second, excuse us. So the thematic analysis has revealed that low-income students have a certain perception of the LSE that includes smart students, rich international students, and a cooperative and competitive focus, and also an image that includes a lack of social life. This perception is due to the campus, the location, and the prestige of the university. So in the end, low-income students choose to go to LSE for its academics and its prestige, and compromise on social life often. They are scared of being excluded when they attend university, both academically and socially. What is revealed through the interviews is the social exclusion is generally resolved once at university, and they do end up finding like-minded peers. So it's really a perception problem. However, as was highlighted in previous presentations, academic exclusion is still a problem ongoing through the degree. What's more, the low-income students, if they're from London, are more likely to be commuting students, which further exclude them from the community. So what this reveals on marketing on the next slide is that efforts for inclusive marketing are being done and recognized by students. So personal interaction is the strongest form of marketing, and stuff like student ambassadors and offer holder days, all that is really impactful. Social media is not that impactful, and people find it a poor focus of marketing for university, but more can be done. And marketing to prospective students is minimal, as can be seen in other presentation as well. There has been minimal interaction with students. They only receive the prospectus, they don't receive any offer holder, I don't know, materials other than that, and they aren't really encouraged to interact with the university any further. As the marketing efforts have to be followed by real effort for inclusivity and diversity at the university. It shouldn't just be a marketing effort. And one recommendation is also that it should emphasize social life more, because it is an aspect of inclusivity. Hence, in line with these findings, we recommend the following things to the LSE.
So firstly, we're going to talk a bit about presence, and this is about increasing the presence of student recruiters out with London, because as we can see, student recruiters have been sent to London, and this is really good for increasing the number of state non-selective students, which will apply. So if we increase this targeted without the London area and maybe to the more northern parts of this country, it's targeted approach and increasing applications from these lower socioeconomic background kids and just being more transparent with that communication.
Secondly, we also thought they could work towards perception. So there could be a marked effort to incorporate narratives of home students to challenge the perception of LSE being an elite and exclusionary institution. We thought this could be a marked increase in their promotional material before students apply to uni. So this would specifically increase the amount of commuter student narratives alongside the international student narratives, so that we could have a whole encompassing picture of what it is like to be an LSE student.
Thirdly, interaction, increasing the number of open day events or creating more online avenues in times like these, or even for students that are further away and can't make it to open days events, for interaction with student ambassadors. It's really good. Personal interaction with LSE students helps tackle the exclusive image of the LSE, and hence student marketing should increase the number of ambassadors and have more one-on-one or personal interaction with such students during outreach. And fourthly, as we said, social life, increase emphasis on community at the LSE in promotional materials, which directly challenges the assumption of the lack of social life. LSE stereotype of being socially dead should be addressed by students rather than not being addressed at all. So thank you very much for your time and consideration in watching this presentation.